I've got the dog sitting right over here, but she's on a special diet now, and this is the kibble that they're giving her. And she's a small dog, but this kibble's really not that big, I'll admit it. But it's not easy for her to chew. When I listen to her crunch on the, she's eating it. She didn't eat for 48 hours because this is alligator, and she hates it. Well, she just threw it on the floor. There we go. You just saw this on TV. I mean, on the video. She doesn't like this stuff because it's too big, and when you listen to her crunch on the thing, it hurts her mouth. And so I cut it up into smaller pieces. Here we go. Let's see if she eats the small piece. And no, she's not eating anything. But when you go on the internet, and a lot of comments for the last 7 years or so, how do you break apart kibble? And so I want you to look at the difference here. There's a big piece of kibble, and, well, here we go. She's eating the full kibble now, but sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. That's the small piece of kibble, that's the full piece of kibble. And I used a meat tenderizer, and when you do that, it just slams this thing apart and causes nothing but trouble. And she's doing really good with the kibble zibble now. That's what I call it when I talk to her. It's kibble zibble. And so, just to make it easier, because, like I said, she didn't eat for 48 hours, and so I'm trying to find a way so that she doesn't have to crunch on this stuff. These things are so hard. When I put a knife blade on there, it's really hard to break up. She's crunching down, making a fool out of me now because she's crunching down the kibble that I'm trying to make smaller. She really is starving. That's why she's doing it. She did not eat for 2 days because she does not like the alligator food that she's been put on. She can't stand it, and she is going to have to eat this stuff for 2 months. So you go on the internet, you look for a search on how do you make kibble smaller, how do you break it up. And right now, as I said, she's making me look like a fool because she's eating this stuff. You can hear the crunching in the background. Ow, that's got to just hurt her mouth. Maybe not, but dogs, I don't think, are meant to be crunching on food. They're meant to be eating meat. And I don't want this stuff to get stuck in her throat. So what I found, the easy way to do that is you get yourself a little pill splitter. Somebody gave this to me, like 6-7 years ago, and I never used the thing because I don't take pills. I had no reason to use this. And then I realized, hey, this thing, now she's all interested in it now. Okay, so the dog wants to be part of the video. Now, don't lick the camera. And I'm going to have to clean up all the lens. She's just into everything. She is a movie star. When I do a YouTube video, she's all into being on the camera. So this is a good thing. I'm happy that she's eating it right now. And let me give her some of the smaller pieces that I just cut up. So let me show you what it does. You have the big piece of kibble, and you put it in your pill splitter like that. And you hold the lever down. She's watching. She's all excited. And you take it out, and you have 2 pieces of kibble. And she eats it because it's easier on her mouth. It's easier on her jaw and her teeth. So hopefully this helps somebody. I couldn't figure out what I needed to do to make this kibble smaller. You can't put it in a blender because it's going to turn it into mush. If you want to make mush soup, if you want to put it in a blender and then mix the stuff with water, that works. The only problem is if they don't eat it right away, or if they don't like mush, then it goes in the garbage can. And with this stuff, this is going to sit out like it did for 2 days until she decides she's going to eat it. So that's my contribution to YouTube and society and the world. And maybe this will help somebody if they do a search on the YouTube on how do you cut up kibble, how do you make kibble smaller, what do you do with kibble zibble. And if this video helped you, please thumbs up, subscribe, like. This diet is costing a fortune. It's an allergy diet to see if she's allergic, which she probably isn't, but it's expensive. Like $70 for a, oh my God, here we go, for a bag of kibble. So if you want to leave a donation to my channel to help me out, to help out the dog, ask for my PayPal info. If you want me to do a review of any product, let me know. If I can, I will. If I can get a hold of the product, I will review it. So contact me on here. So subscribers are really important. So this is, it's not bad. The nice thing is that it cuts it evenly in half. To have to do this to a 20-pound bag of kibble, yikes. But if your dog is too small and you've got this large kibble and you need to do it, then you do what you need to do. One more piece. And so it is time consuming, but you're probably sitting there playing on the internet or watching TV or texting or surfing the web or wasting your life doing something. It's not too productive. So do this for your dog. It's not that hard to do. Just don't get yourself carpal tunnel in the wrist, because then you won't be able to use your hands or wrists, or then you won't be able to take care of the dog. So that makes it into a nice bite-sized piece compared to this bowl over here. It's a big difference. And test it out. I'm going to test it out tonight, tomorrow, and see what the dog does. But it definitely makes a nice bite-sized kibble for a smaller dog. If you've got a big dog, then if you've got, well, even my dog's able to eat this stuff, but when I listen to her crunch down on it, it's just an enormous amount of force, and it's a loud clunk. And again, I should be able to break this thing, well, I should be able to break this thing in half. I can't. And as I said, when I put it on the counter with a knife and I hit into it, it takes just so much pressure, so much force. And with this thing, pill splitter, you buy them at a pharmacy for a couple bucks. Most health fairs give these things away, or they used to, until Orange Man got in office. And now there is no health care for anybody. And so this is a really good way to do it. Make sure you watch all my other videos. I've got some awesome stuff on here. Basic chords on piano. Some guitar stuff. Lots of cool reviews. Health products. How to punch holes into walls. Put wires in there. Add an outlet. Wrap an extension cord. Clean the carpet. Lots of cool stuff. So I want you to be with me for a while I do this. I don't want to just do a 1-minute video on YouTube. That'd be kind of silly, saying buy this. What good is a 1-minute video when you can make a 10-minute video? So, not looking forward to the idea of doing this every day for 2 months of this diet. This is alligator kibble that you're looking at. Alligator kibble, alligator canned food, alligator treats. Very expensive. The whole idea behind it is if a dog is allergic to something, it usually shows up in skin problems, and the only allergies that dogs have are food allergies or environmental allergies. Let's see if the dog wants some of this. Nope, she says, nope, I've had enough of that stuff, I hate it. So, instead of doing blood tests, they like to do a food allergy test. And what you do is you take the dog off of everything that it has eaten that they might be allergic to, he, she, and you put it on something that they have never had in their life. And you let the gut, the digestive system, the gut, you let it clear out. It might be a leaky gut the dog has, so you let it clear out for 2 to 3 months, and then you start reintroducing foods and see if symptoms come back, and if they don't, then you know that they don't have an allergy. And she ate dog food, but she never had alligator. Most dogs don't eat alligator, so they'll put them on an alligator diet or like bird ears or frog's legs or just something that, some protein that the dog has never had, or the cat. And that lets the body heal over 2 to 3 months of very expensive food, and then they reintroduce everything. And if the problems are gone, then you know the dog or cat has an allergy to food, and you figure out what sets them off. And assume that they have an allergy to chicken. You don't feed them chicken, but in a couple weeks or a couple months, they could develop an allergy to beef. So sometimes you want to rotate the proteins they're getting just to try to avoid the body starting to reject it. And if you feed them raw food, if you feed them the stuff that they would be eating out in the wild, then this probably wouldn't be the case. But even in the healthy dog foods and kibbles, they put a lot of fillers and carbs and a lot of junk in there that sets off the allergy reaction, the allergic reaction. So, and if they find out that it's not a food allergy, then the next step is it's an environmental allergy. So she is now getting a bath once a week, which is a nightmare trying to put this dog into a kitchen sink because she wants to jump out of it. But I haven't figured out how to put her in the bathtub and stop her from wanting to jump out. So, and I don't have any of those long hoses to use the attachment in the shower to wash her. So she's getting that, and most dogs get yeast infections because their paws are wet, and they also get them from allergic reaction. And there's some really cool stuff you can buy online that will take care of that yeast infection on the nail, the claw. Or you can do what I did, because I didn't know better, and you go to the vet, and they'll charge you a fortune and say there's yeast on there, and have you apply the lotion that you can buy online, or the spray that will kill this stuff. It might also stop the itching and everything else, but she was given an itching shot to stop her body from wanting to scratch. And it's definitely not cheap. So this is really small kibble, but it is, if it works, if she eats this stuff tomorrow without all the aggravation I went through of not eating for 48 hours and watching her miserable and very unhappy till she decided, I'm starving, I need food. And as far as the 48 hours, I'm still training her. And there are alligator treats that cost a fortune, $20 for a tiny bag. And so I didn't want her to starve, and I wanted to continue to train her, so she got a little bit of her treats, so at least she was getting some nourishment, but it kept her hungry enough that it made her want to eat the food that she doesn't want to eat. So now she, as you saw, she's eating it. Most of the pieces in this container now are kind of small. This stuff's really small. This is probably even smaller than what she used to eat before. And so knowing the vet, they're probably going to want her on a anti-itch shot every 30 days for the rest of her life, maybe, but they also say that they outgrow this stuff, or during certain seasons of the year, it might all go away. It's very expensive, but it's okay. You know, I rescued her. She was in a shelter. She was given up by her owners. That, from what we know, I don't know the beginning of her life, but she was given up by her owner. She was surrendered at a kill shelter. the worst shelter in Los Angeles, where it has a very high kill rate. And Los Angeles, within the next couple months, or I think next year, but within the next couple months, the goal is LA will no longer be a kill facility. All animals will be held at the shelter or picked up by private places that will hold on to them until they are adopted or rescued out somehow. So she was at the worst shelter in LA. I don't know when she was brought in, but she was probably there for at least a couple months, we think. And then she was picked up by a new place that opened up in LA. And if they don't adopt that, they go to the worst shelters and take the dogs and cats that they think nobody's going to want. And they will do surgery on them or do whatever they need to, and they foot the bill for the whole thing. Because it's a nonprofit that, unlike other nonprofits that are really making a profit for the owner, this is a nonprofit that has invested over $50 million into this whole thing just to rescue out dogs and cats. And I went over there, and she was listed as, I'm a little lady with no manners and no training, and I can't be around kids or other dogs, and nobody wanted her. Everybody thought she was adorable. She's really cute. She's absolutely so cute. And I'm not saying that. Look at some of the videos I posted recently. She is adorable. She could be in a movie. That's how cute she is. So I picked her up. What was going on is I never even thought about it. I just thought, hey, I want to get a dog. Maybe. Never thought what it was going to do, that I wouldn't be riding my bike, or that I'd be waking up at 6 in the morning to walking her at night, or going out in the cold, which I hate. Never thought about any of that stuff. Just thought, hey, maybe I want to get myself a dog. And I was going to the facility and checking out the dogs and the cats all the time after they opened. And I saw her in the cage, and she looked at me. I put my hand over towards the little sniff opening, and she came over and sniffed my hand. Went over to the back door, kind of like she was waiting for somebody to let her out, knew that she wasn't getting out, and she sat on the floor, looked at me, and then contently rested her head on the floor and went to sleep. And I went there a few times, and I checked her out, and I just thought, I can't let this dog stay in here. Let me fix my place up. I'll get it all cleaned up. And believe me, it's a single person's nightmare mess, bachelor pad, disgusting pigsty with way too much stuff here. So I wanted to paint, and I was painting. Ceilings are like 18 feet tall, and I couldn't get up that high because it's too dangerous. So I only painted half the wall. I got things fixed up as best I could, and I told them I was trying to fix the place up for her. And I went in there on a Saturday. I took my mom out to breakfast, and I went there on a Saturday. I was going to tell them, hey, my birthday's in a couple days, and I will adopt her next weekend after I go to a breakfast. Then I'll have some time to finish cleaning my place up. I'll take her next Saturday. My birthday's on a Wednesday, and it is a Saturday now. And they told me, they said, well, somebody's looking at her right now, and everybody there at the place wanted me to have her. They knew I was looking at her for weeks, and there was just a huge panic. Oh, no, are they going to take her? What's going to happen? But it was first come, first served. So the couple walked around with her on the leash, and I was just falling apart looking at that, seeing what was going on, saying I just lost the chance to get the dog that I'm not even ready to take. And they walked over to me. Again, it was a big panic. They're all on the radios talking about what's going on. Are they going to take her? And somebody said, no, they're not taking her. Somebody who heard that on the radio came over to me and said, they're not taking her. And I just looked at them and said, I want her, and I walked away, just kind of just lost it. I mean, it was tears in my eyes because I was so lucky that they weren't going to take her. And I brought her home, and she was scared. She was petrified out of her mind and just chewed through a bully stick, half of a bully stick that night. Yeah, it was a rough night, and that's when I realized what I got myself into of the responsibility, which I had before as a kid, but the responsibility of walking a dog, feeding a dog, comforting a dog. And I've had her for 2 months. I've probably spent $2,000 on her in medical bills, in 9 beds. She's got tons of beds, lots of blankets, lots of toys. A lot of money for dog training because, again, she was listed as no manners, no training, and that's what she needs. So kind of saved her life, and no regrets, even though it's completely changed my life, and I'm just waiting to get to the point where I can leave her alone. I've got to clean the place up and block some areas off. Otherwise, she might chew up the sofa or her beds or her toys or just endanger herself somehow. So, all right, that's the story of how I got my dog, and we're just best buddies. She sleeps, she watches what I do all day, all night. If I go over to the sofa, she gets in the bed next to the sofa, or she gets on the floor next to the sofa. If I get up to go to the computer, she goes in the bed next to the computer or goes under the computer table by my feet. So she's highly attached to me and very, I don't want to say dependent on me, but she's growing up and she's learning. And that's why I've got this little pill thing. And to me, see, this is her old kibble, which I have to throw out. She can't have this stuff. This is not part of the diet, or it will screw up the test. And that was at the bottom. That's her, what she should be eating, and this is kind of what I just cut her new piece to be with a, oops, I just put that in the mixture, and now I gotta go find out where I threw that on the plate. Yikes. So use a pill splitter. It's the easiest way, time consuming, but I got through this bowl in a short amount of time, and it's really about the only way you can do it unless you want to try to use a mallet or dangerously putting the thing on a cutting board, putting the kibble on there and hitting it with a knife and hoping that you split it evenly. And that's going to conclude my video. I really hope this helps somebody out. I doubt that anybody got to the end of this thing, but that's okay. You know, if one person benefits from this video, that's all that matters. So please, thumbs up, subscribe, a like, do share this video so it helps me out a little bit. Again, if you want to do a donation, ask for my PayPal, and it will help out me and the dog a lot. And what else? If there's anything you want me to review, if I can get a hold of it, I will do the review and post it on here. All right, take care of your dog, be good to your pet, and thanks for watching.